Call me a god. What's going on, folks? We're back with another one. Airline announcements just released, I think, 2 days ago. Off the George Carlin, whatever. Anyway, I just saw it released 2 days ago. Airline announcements. I think this is from I think it's a Jamin in New York, 92. I think. If not, let me know. If you would, please hit the subscribe button. Throw something down in the comments you want me to react to. If I react to it, then, well, I will name drop you in the description. You know, your little tag or whatever that may be. Cool. Alright, let's do this. Smoke it if you got it. If you... Never mind.
Something else we have in common. Flying on the airlines. Flying on the airlines and listening to the airlines announcements. And trying to pretend to ourselves that that's the way the English language ought to be spoken. Doesn't sound that way to me.
Here we go.
The whole thing starts when you get to the gate. First announcement. We would like to begin the boarding process. Extra word, process. Not necessary. Boarding is enough. We'd like to begin the boarding. Simple. Tells the story. People add extra words when they want things to sound more important than they really are. Boarding process. Sounds important. It isn't. It's just a bunch of people getting on an airplane. People like to sound important. Weathermen on television talk about shower activity. Sounds more important than showers. I even heard one guy on CNN talk about a rain event. Swear to God, he said, Louisiana's expecting a rain event. I thought, holy shit, I hope I can get tickets to that.
This is my
emergency situation. News people like to say, police have responded to an emergency situation. No, they haven't. They've responded to an emergency. We know it's a situation. Everything is a situation. Anyway, as part of this boarding process, they say, we would like to pre-board. Well, what exactly is that? What does it mean to pre-board? You get on before you get on? That's another complaint of mine. Too much use of this prefix pre. It's all over the language now. Pre this, pre that. Place the turkey in a preheated oven. It's ridiculous. There are only two states an oven can possibly exist in, heated or unheated. Preheated is a meaningless fucking term. It's like pre-recorded. This program was pre-recorded. Well, of course it was pre-recorded. When else are you going to record it? Afterwards? That's the whole principle of recording, to do it beforehand. Otherwise, it doesn't really work, does it?
My man.
Pre-qualified, pre-planned, pre-screened. You know what I tell these people? Pre-suck my genital situation. And they seem to understand what I'm talking about.
At the front and the end.
Anyway, as part of this pre-boarding, they say, we would like to pre-board those passengers traveling with small children. Well, what about those passengers traveling with large children? Suppose you have a 2-year-old with a pituitary disorder. You know, a 6-foot infant with an oversized head. The kind of kids you see in the National Enquirer all the time.
Oh.
Actually, with a kid like that, I think you're better off checking him right in with your luggage at the curb. Well, they like it under there. It's dark. They're used to that. About this time, someone is telling you to get on the plane. Get on the plane, get on the plane. I say, fuck you, I'm getting in the plane.
Oh, come on. Seriously?
Evil, get on the plane. I'll be in here with you folks in uniform. There seems to be less wind in here. They might tell you you're on a non-stop flight. I don't think I care for that. No, I insist that my flights stop. Preferably at an airport. It's those sudden, unscheduled cornfield and housing development stop that seem to interrupt the flow of my day. Here's one they just made up. Near miss. When two planes almost collide, they call it a near miss. It's a near hit. A collision is a near miss. Look, they nearly missed.
They nearly missed.
Yes, but not quite. They might tell you your flight has been delayed because of a change of equipment. Broken plane. They're telling me to put my seat back forward.
All facts. What?
Well, I don't bend that way. If I could put my seat back forward, I'd be in porno movies. Then they mentioned carry-on luggage. First time I heard carry-on, I thought they were going to bring a dead deer on board. I thought, what the hell do they need with that? Don't they have the little TV dinners anymore? Then I thought, carry on, there's going to be a party. People are going to be carrying on.
What the hell is that?
Well, I don't care for that. I like a serious attitude on the plane, especially on the flight deck, which is the latest euphemism for cockpit. Can't imagine why they wouldn't want to use a lovely word like cockpit, can you? Especially with all those stewardesses going in and out of it all the time.
I knew it.
There's a word that's changed, stewardess. First it was hostess, then stewardess, now it's flight attendant.
Flight
you know what I call her? The lady on the plane. Sometimes it's a man on the plane now. That's good equality. I'm all in favor of that. Occasionally, they actually refer to these people as uniformed crew members. Uniformed. As opposed to that guy sitting next to you in the Grateful Dead t-shirt and the fuck you hat. Who's working on his 9th little bottle of Kahlua, I might add.
Nice. That's $45.
As soon as they close the door of the aircraft, that's when they begin the safety lecture. I love the safety lecture. This is my favorite part of the plane ride. I listen very carefully to the safety lecture, especially that part where they teach us how to use the seat belt. Imagine this. Here we are, a plane full of grown human beings, many of us partially educated, and they're actually taking time out to describe the intricate workings of a belt buckle. Place the small metal flap into the buckle.
Now, technically, you do have to do this. You know, you do have to talk like this to, you know, basically people from the South. So.
Well, I asked for clarification at that point.
Oh, man.
Pardon me. Over here, please. Thank you very much. Did I hear you correctly? Did you say place the small metal flap into the buckle, or place the buckle over and around the small metal flap?
Over and around.
I'm a simple man and do not possess an engineering degree, nor am I mechanically inclined. Sorry to have taken up so much of your time. Please continue with the wonderful safety lecture. Seatbelts. High-tech shit. The next thing they do, they tell you to locate your nearest emergency exit. I do this immediately. I locate my nearest emergency exit, and then I plan my route. You have to plan your route. It's not always a straight line, is it? Sometimes there's a really big fat fuck sitting right in front of you. Well, you know you'll never get over him.
Facts.
I look around for women and children, midgets and dwarfs, cripples, war widows, paralyzed veterans, people with broken legs, anyone who looks like they can't move too well. The emotionally disturbed come in very handy at a time like this. You may have to go out of your way to find these people, but you'll get out of the plane a lot goddamn quicker, believe me. I say, let's see. I'll go around the fat fuck, step on the widow's head, push those children out of the way, knock down the paralyzed midget, and get out of the plane where I can help others.
Oh, man. Where I can help others. He did a George Costanza with the fire.
I can be of no help to anyone if I'm lying unconscious in the aisle with some big cocksucker standing on my neck. I must get out of the plane, go to a nearby farmhouse, have a Dr. Pepper, and call the police. The safety lecture continues. In the unlikely event This is a very suspect phrase. Especially coming as it does from an industry that is willing to lie about arrival and departure times. In the unlikely event of a sudden change in cabin pressure, roof flies off. An oxygen mask will drop down in front of you. Place the mask over your face and breathe normally. Well, I have no problem with that. I always breathe normally when I'm in a 600-mile-an-hour uncontrolled vertical dive. I also shit normally. Right in my pants! They tell you to adjust your oxygen mask before helping your child with his. I did not need to be told that. In fact, I'm probably going to be too busy screaming to help him at all. This will be a good time for him to learn self-reliance. If he can program his fucking VCR, he can goddamn jolly well learn to adjust an oxygen mask.
Jolly well learned.
Fairly simple thing, just a little rubber band in the back is all it is. Not nearly as complicated as, say, for instance, a seatbelt. The safety lecture continues. In the unlikely event of a water landing. Well, what exactly is
A water
water
landing.
landing? Am I mistaken, or does this sound somewhat similar to crashing into the ocean? Your seat cushion can be used as a flotation device.
Wow.
My seat cushion. Imagine that. Just what I need. To float around the North Atlantic for several days, clinging to a pillow full of beer farts.
I think I do remember that joke. From another
The flight
segment.
continues. A little later on, we hear, the captain has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign. Well, who gives a shit who turned it on? What does that have to do with anything?
He must be acknowledged.
And who made this man a captain, might I ask? Did I sleep through some sort of an armed forces swearing-in ceremony or something? Captain, he's a fucking pilot, and let him be happy with that. If those sightseeing announcements he's making are any mark of his intellect, he's lucky to be working at all.
Wow.
Tell the captain, Air Marshal Carlin says, go fuck yourself.
Air Marshal Carlin. Pretty big place.
The next sentence I hear is full of things that piss me off.
God.
Before leaving the aircraft, please check around your immediate seating area for any personal belongings you might have brought on board. Well, let's start with immediate seating area. Seat! It's a goddamn seat! Check around your seat for any personal belongings. Well, what other kinds of belongings are there besides personal? Public belongings? Do these people honestly think I might be traveling with a fountain I stole from the park?
The park?
You might have brought on board. Well, I might have brought my Arrowhead collection. I didn't. So I'm not going to look for it. I'm going to look for things I brought on board. Would seem to enhance the likelihood of my finding something, wouldn't you say? They tell me to return my seat back and tray table to their original upright positions. Fine. Who's going to return this guy in the Grateful Dead t-shirt and the fuck you hat to his original upright position? About this time, they tell you you'll be landing shortly. That sound to you like we're going to miss the runway?
That's what I was.
Final approach is not very promising either, is it? Final is not a good word to be using on an airplane. Sometimes the pilot will get on and he'll say, we'll be on the ground in 15 minutes. Well, that's a little vague, isn't it? Now we're taxiing in. She says, welcome to O'Hare International Airport. Well, how can someone who is just arriving herself possibly welcome me to a place she isn't even at yet? Doesn't this violate something in physics? We're only on the ground 4 seconds. She's coming on like the fucking mayor's wife.
Oh.
Well, the local time. Of course it's the local time. What did you think we were expecting? The time in Pango Pango? Enjoy your stay in Chicago or wherever your final destination might be. All destinations are final. That's what it means. Destiny, final. If you haven't gotten where you're going, you aren't there yet. The captain has asked. More shit from the bogus captain. You know, for someone who's supposed to be flying an airplane, he's taking a mighty big interest in what I'm doing back here. That should remain seated until he has brought the aircraft to a complete stop. Not a partial stop. Because during a partial stop, I partially get up. Please continue to observe the no smoking sign until well inside the terminal. It's physically impossible to observe the no smoking sign even if you're just outside the door of the airplane, much less well inside the terminal. You can't even see the fucking planes from well inside the terminal.
Oh, man.
Which brings me to terminal. Another unfortunate word to be used in association with air travel. And they use it all over the airport, don't they? Somehow I just can't get hungry at a place called the Terminal Snack Bar. But if you've ever eaten there, you know it is an appropriate name.
There we go, guys. Hey, comment or not comment, thanks for coming in.